Basically, this is what has happened. Sophie Cunningham has tweeted, or Sophie Cunningham's sister tweeted out, maybe you should focus less on finding players for commenting on poor officiating, yada yada. And then somebody responded with protect athletes. Shut up, B word at her sister. When Sophie Cunningham took out JC Sheldon. Reality is, the referees dealt with it. Like, that's not, the complaint isn't that these things aren't happening. The complaints are that the referees are not dealing.
Sophie Cunningham isn't just draining threes anymore. She's clapping back at critics online, and the internet can't stop talking about it. Anytime an athlete pulls out the Twitter fingers, you know something went down.
And Sophie Cunningham, she's not afraid to call a spade a spade. She's not afraid to call it like it is. She's taken this opportunity with the Indiana Fever and has run with it. When it comes to on the court, she's performing. She's sticking up for her team. When it comes to off the court, she's getting the deals. She's getting the endorsements. She's got the podcast. And you better watch out, Twitter folks, because if you say something about Sophie's La Familia, oh, she's coming for you and coming for...
And this time, Sophie did not hold back. The fallout? Wild. So here's the big question. Was her clapback justified, or did she just pour more fuel on the fire? Let's be real. Subtle isn't Sophie's style. She's been bodying defenders on the court for years, and now
Lizzie Cunningham, I believe this is Sister C. Shout out to you, Sister C. WNBA, maybe you should focus less on finding players for commenting on your poor officiating and more about hiring officials that are able to call a consistent game and protect your athletes. Pathetic. Praying for you. Then we have Twitter Troll 101 say, quote, protect athletes, talking to Sophie Cunningham's sister, calls her the B word and tells her to shut up. And you had to know Sophie Cunningham's not going to let this slide. Sophie Cunningham is not going to let this slide and not let it slide as she did. She said, some of us were raised by the words of don't bite off more than you can chew, and some of us didn't. Quote, F around and find out, with a video of her throwing JC Sheldon.
Botting trolls on social media. And the timing? Priceless. Because when an athlete decides to fire back mid-season, it usually means one of two things. They've either had enough of the noise, or they've got nothing left to lose. With Sophie, it feels like a bit of both. Here's how it started. The drama kicked off after her infamous collision with JC Sheldon. Things got physical. Welcome to the WNBA physical. And suddenly the refs are blowing whistles. Twitter's blowing up, and Sophie's trending as the league's new villain. Classic WNBA drama. But honestly, this isn't new territory. Sophie's always been polarizing. Love her or hate her.
And Sophie Cunningham even blows her the nice kiss emoji. Oh, shout out to Sophie Cunningham, man. Shout out to Sophie Cunningham. And then we have from her.
You're dumb as shit.
Yeah.
You're literally dumb as fuck. You're dumb as shit.
Yeah.
You're literally dumb.
There's no middle ground. She'll knock down a corner three, then bark at the opposing bench to remind you she's here. Fiery, unapologetic. Not exactly the league's polished PR poster child. So after all the noise, Sophie, well, technically her sister, finally clapped back. Fans were clowning her, calling her dirty, saying she doesn't belong in the league.
Like, there's an entire thread of Bria Hartley committing dirty plays. And Bria Hartley has not been chucked out for most of them. For the majority of the dirty stuff Bria Hartley's done, she's not been chucked out. Sophie Cunningham rightfully got chucked for this. She got chucked for this. Anytime Sophie Cunningham does something that is technical foul worthy, she gets a technical foul. That is the referees doing their job. The referees doing their job is not preventing anything happening. The referees doing their job is making sure they call the right things and that they stop any complete escalation. The only thing the referees did wrong was allow Marina Mabrey stay on the floor. JC Sheldon should have been, like, the reality is that JC Sheldon and Marina Mabrey, JC Sheldon should have been given a flagrant foul, and Marina Mabrey should have been ejected.
And her sister's tweet? It basically said what Sophie was probably thinking. Maybe stop worrying about Sophie and start worrying about the refs actually doing their jobs. And honestly, a lot of players quietly agree with that. They just don't say it out loud. Because here's the truth. Sophie got tossed for that play, fine. But where was the outrage when Bria Hartley yanked Angel Reese down by her hair? Or when Hartley undercut players against Seattle and stayed in the game? That's the WNBA's real problem. It's not that Sophie's fouls get called, it's that the whistles aren't consistent. And that double standard is what fuels these online wars. Sophie's clapback wasn't some massive rant. It didn't need to be. It was sharp, quick, and dripping with "don't mess with me" energy. The replies? Split down the middle. Half the fans were cheering her on, half were doubling down that she's dirty. That's Sophie's career in a nutshell. Polarizing, messy, and always entertaining. But here's why it hit different. Sophie usually doesn't respond this directly. She'll retweet, she'll like posts, maybe drop a sarcastic emoji, but going straight at critics? Rare. Which makes it feel like something deeper is going on. Maybe she's frustrated, maybe she feels targeted, maybe she isn't 100% physically. Players don't jump into the mud with trolls unless they're already fed up. And make no mistake, on the court, Sophie matters. She's not a superstar stat sheet stuffer, but her presence? Huge. Think Dennis Rodman, not Michael Jordan. She's second in true shooting, knocking down threes, spacing the floor for Caitlin Clark, and giving the Fever an edge they desperately need. You can call her dirty all you want, but she's also productive, and coaches love players like that. Of course, once she clapped back, fans went digging. Old clips, foul compilations, villain edits, you name it. And honestly, that's not new either. Every league has a villain. The NBA had the bad boy Pistons. The NFL had Von Tazi Perfect. Sports thrive when there's someone to love or hate. Right now, Sophie Cunningham is filling that role. But she doesn't want to just be the villain. She wants respect as a shooter, as a competitor. And when her whole career gets reduced to dirty plays, you can see why she snapped. Her point wasn't, "I'm innocent." It was, "call the game both ways." And that's fair, because inconsistency is what drives players insane. Now here's the bigger picture. Women's sports are always walking a tightrope with physicality. Fans say they want toughness, fire, intensity. But when someone like Sophie plays with that edge, suddenly she's dirty or classless. Double standard much? That's part of what her clapback exposed. And don't forget, the WNBA spotlight is brighter than ever thanks to Caitlin Clark. 10 years ago, Sophie's tweets wouldn't make headlines. Now, everything is magnified. Every foul, every stare down, every clapback. And Sophie Cunningham versus Twitter trolls is suddenly a trending topic. Here's the real takeaway. Sophie Cunningham matters. She moves the needle. Love her or hate her, you're talking about her. And in today's sports culture, that's almost as valuable as being an all-star. So, did she go too far? Maybe. But she also proved she's not afraid to be the chaos agent. And honestly, the WNBA needs that. Controversy isn't killing the league. It's keeping it alive. So I'll leave you with this. Did Sophie Cunningham's clapback expose the WNBA's double standards? Or did she just give her critics more ammo? Either way, she made sure her name stays in the conversation. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and drop your take in the comments. Are you Team Sophie or Team She's Dirty?